Healing minds, inspiring voices, living truth, making choices. This is your space. Just be you, authentically peculiar with Marcia. Welcome to a space where healing is real, where your voice matters and your truth is enough. With authentically peculiar. Season 5, the year of expansion, healing deeper, living louder, stepping fully into who you are. Authentically peculiar with Marcia.
Welcome back to Authentically Peculiar with Marcia. I gotta take a breath, y'all, because this one right here um, gave me permission to be a mother. This one right here gave me permission to live and to be the woman that I am today. I'm gonna read you her official bio, but I just wanted to start off with I so love you.
I love you
And
too.
I'm so grateful that God chose me for you. Huh. Okay, let me get that emotional stuff out the way. Okay, because I'll get too emotional, but this one right here, she gonna pull the emotion every time. Today, my guest is Tymisza Matthews. She is an educator, a wife, a mother, an advocate, and a breast cancer survivor whose journey is a powerful testament to resilience, faith, and the human spirit's ability to overcome adversity. For more than a decade, Tymisza has dedicated her life to serving students, families, and communities, helping others recognize their potential and navigate life's challenges with courage and determination. Her passion for empowering others is rooted not only in her professional experience, but also her personal journey of perseverance. When faced with life-altering breast cancer diagnosis, Tymisza discovered that survival was just the beginning. Through unwavering faith, intentional healing, and a commitment to personal growth, she transformed one of the most difficult seasons in her life into a testimony of strength, purpose, and hope. Her journey taught her that while challenges may change the course of our lives, they do not have to define our destination. So today, Tymisza inspires others to move beyond simply surviving and embrace the possibility of thriving. Her message is both powerful and practical. Your circumstances may shape your story, but they do not determine your future. So please join me in welcoming my big baby, Tymisza Matthews, to Authentically Peculiar with Marcia.
I'm so excited.
You so excited?
I am
Me
so
too.
excited. I'm so happy that you're having me.
It took us 2 years.
It took a long time. It took a
It took
long
us a
time.
while because I had to embrace when you were ready. Although I
Mhm.
know that you've had a powerful testimony to changing others' lives and to embracing from childhood to now what life looks like for you, I needed to make sure that you were ready to do this without running away. So,
Yeah, yeah.
for those who are
Thank you
meeting
for
you for
waiting.
yes, timing is everything. But for those that are meeting you for the first time, outside of being my oldest, who are you beyond all the titles that you have?
I'm going to say this in the easiest way possible, but then I'm going to elaborate. I'm just me. I
Mm-hmm.
believe in a world full of bots
Mm-hmm.
and people trying to keep up with everyone else and be everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I am just me. I'm my authentic self. I am who God created me to be. I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I am Tymisza. I am the goofy social introvert, and people may be social introvert, yes, because when I'm in a social setting or a social scene, baby, I'm going to shine. I'm going to be me. I'm going to bring the fun. But at the same time, I love to be rooted and grounded and at home under the covers, rubbing my feet, watching Murder, She Wrote. So that's who Tymisza is. Tymisza
And
is
making us
just,
eat Doritos with cream cheese.
yes, Doritos with cream cheese. I am a big baby, I
Hmm.
really am, but I'm just me. I'm just a vessel.
Hmm.
And
I love that. I love the statement, I am just a vessel. When you state I'm a vessel, what does that look like for you?
so for me, it's a combination of things.
Hmm.
It's being a mother, it's
Hmm.
being a wife, it's being a listener. So as far as me being a mother, I try to be very intentional with my children about things that I may have lacked growing up, or
Hmm.
things I may have not gotten encouragement for, or so socially it was not right. So it's just navigating life and just teaching my children things that I may not have learned or I may have done
Hmm.
wrong, but also being in a position to let them know that it's okay to not do it like I do it. It's okay to
Hmm.
not go my route or
Hmm.
listen to my advice or follow my advice. I'm not
Hmm.
going to bash you if you don't listen to my advice. As a wife, it's being there for my husband, even in the difficult times, even
Hmm.
in the times when I feel like I'm right and he's
Hmm.
wrong.
Hmm.
Just being a helpmate and actually being submissive, because I'm very bullheaded, I'm very stubborn, I want to be right all the time. But it's
Hmm.
it's being that submissive soft person. As a friend, it's being an advocate, it's being a listener. It's helping in any way I can. I truly am here to help people.
Hmm.
I give my all to everybody. And when I say being a vessel, I mean that, but also at the same time, I'm getting into a space where I'm being a vessel for me. So what that means is putting myself first, giving
Hmm.
myself grace when I am
Hmm.
ripping and running, and learning that I can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes, that was one of the things. And let me be clear, I did not birth Tymisza through my own womb, but I birthed my baby. So just to be clear, all right. But I say that to say all of your life, I poured into you the importance of choosing you first. So I want to venture into something real quick that may help a lot of women who struggle with people pleasing, especially people pleasing when it comes to parents, when it comes to friends, and trying to live up with others' expectations of you. How did people pleasing show up in your life?
It showed up at an early age. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I have done it so much
Mm-hmm.
and so early in life, I couldn't really give you an answer on
Mm-hmm.
when it started.
Mm-hmm.
But it has been, people pleasing is something I've done my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I was young, I had to be probably 11 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
You told me, baby, you got to learn how to say no.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn how to say no. And it took me 30 more years until I finally got a sense
The
of
strength.
what
Mm-hmm.
that means,
Mm-hmm.
because I have been trying to please people my entire life. And now
Mm-hmm.
those same people that I have pleased in several avenues throughout
Mm-hmm.
life, you tell them no one time and it's act like they like they lost their best friend.
Mm-hmm. Because they can no longer manipulate. And this is what I share with my clients. When you learn no, and then you expound on that no, people become angry because they can no longer manipulate the side of you that they've been used to manipulating. And that no is crushing to them. It's devastating for you, for them, because you're no longer on the end of their puppet string. And when you began to tap into the no, I started celebrating. because you've always been the one that needed to be everybody's hero. You always, and it was taking on a lot of energy that you didn't deserve to take on. And I think that getting into the diagnosis of breast cancer forced you to see you and to learn to make you a priority. What are your thoughts about that?
I agree. And I'm going to tell you why. When you are a person who is always running, always doing, always fixing something for other people, even in your darkest hour, even in your darkest hour, those people are still going to count on you to be there for them.
Listen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They don't care that you're sick. I
Mm-mm.
have people who did not care. I'm not going to say they did not care. I'm not going to say they did not care. But my sickness was not important to them. It was
Mm-hmm.
what
Your
I could do
healing.
for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, me being sick and down. They don't care. Okay, she's sick. She gonna bounce back. That was the thought. So it's, can you do this? Do you feel like doing this? Are you
Mm-hmm.
able to do this?
Mm-hmm.
I could
You
have
know.
just came from chemo. They're not thinking like that. They're thinking, oh, Tymisza, she's strong. She gonna be all right. Can you do X, Y, Z, woo, woo, woo?
Mm-hmm. 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 I remember when you called me and you said, "Mama, they found some lumps and they're cancerous." And y'all know me. I'm my mind going to fix. I said, "Okay, here's what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna get into no pity parties. We're not gonna be talking to people that's oh, woe is me, and trying to put the energy back on them and put the spotlight back on them. We're getting ready to eliminate all of that." Because I knew that there was going to be a drain and people were going to still be requiring of you to show up for them through, I won't say your sickness, through your healing
Yeah.
because of their own selfishness. And so when I saw you saying, I'm not doing that, and choosing you, that helped me to understand it's just a diagnosis. It's not a destination. How does that resonate with you knowing that, yes, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Yes, I went through all these rounds of chemo, but that's not my destination.
So when I first saw what I thought was an abnormality,
Mm-hmm.
I was working the summer. I was working a 12-month position. So I
And
had
you
to
were
work in the summer.
breastfeeding.
I was breastfeeding. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to work in the summer. And for my daughter's first birthday, we went to Florida to
Mm-hmm.
celebrate her birthday. And I was still nursing at the time, even though she was one. And while we were in Florida, I noticed a red patch on my breast.
Mm-hmm.
And when I noticed the red patch on my breast, it kind of looked like a strawberry, the outside of a
Mm.
strawberry. So look at
Mm-hmm.
the grooves and everything on the outside of the strawberry. That's how the patch looked.
Gotcha.
So we were out of town. I was like, oh, maybe it's sunburn. When we came home, I was like, oh, it's still there. Maybe I have a clogged milk duct. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna try to wean her off of my breast anyway,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wean her off. So as that was in March.
Mm-hmm.
So me being me, trying to keep going, trying to be strong, it's still there in June. This is the summertime. It's still there in June. So I'm like, oh, and of course, what's the first thing people do now that we have technology and AI? I got on Dr. Google and I said, hey, Dr. Google, I have this patch. It looks like this. And Google was like, oh, that may be breast cancer. I'm like, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I don't got no
Uh-huh.
breast cancer. So I
Mm-hmm.
still didn't do what I needed to do. But I said, you know what, let me go ahead and call my doctor and try to get a mammogram. So I called the people to get a mammogram. They said, well, you have to go to your regular doctor. So I called my doctor. I got in and she was like, oh, you good to come in. Let's go get you to take a mammogram. Fast forward, I go get the mammogram. They bring me into this other room. They say, hey, something doesn't look quite right, but it may be your milk. Because since you are breastfeeding, the x-rays can be a little off. We want to just do a biopsy. They do the biopsy. This is in July. And I'm still ripping and running. I'm still working. I'm still doing everything. I got a call while I was at work. And I was about to go on my lunch. and I was at a training. I was at a conference. And I was about to go on lunch, and I came home for lunch. And as I pulled into the driveway, I got the call, and the nurse was like, where is it okay for me to go over your results with you? Now, I didn't know they told you cancer diagnosis over the phone. I had no idea they do that. So she said, we did fine. We did your left breast, we did your right breast, and we did do some of your lymph nodes. She said, and we determined that your right breast did come back for invasive ductal carcinoma, as well as your right lymph node. So I'm like, okay, what does that mean? She was like, well, that's a form of cancer. So, I took it in for a moment, but immediately, me being who I am, immediately I start thinking about my husband and my children and what life will look like for them if I'm not here. I didn't even think about myself at that point. It's what will life look like for my husband and my children. So, I just prayed to God and asked God, like, how am I supposed to navigate this and telling my family? And so at first I told very little people. You are one of 5. And I mean that. When people say a handful, it was truly a handful. I told 5 people because what you said, I did not want that. I did not want that stigma. Oh, no, because cancer is not going to define me, because I knew I had a whole lot more life to live. I knew I had a whole lot more love to give. And like you said, I knew my destination. I knew this was not the end for me. I know I'm destined for greatness, and I knew it was just a stepping stone. I knew God was using me again as a vessel to be a testimony. So I never let it determine my destination. I always knew that I would come out on top. And I know that's a lot.
No. You laid it out perfectly, because I was actually going to ask additional questions, but you already gave it to us. The one question I want to ask, though, is even though you entered into that season in a space of positivity, were there times that you wanted to give up, and what helped you to keep moving?
So it may have been my 3rd or 4th round. I'm going to say my 4th round of chemo. I did 6 rounds. And I don't know if it was 4. I'm almost positive it was 4. After your 2nd round of chemotherapy, chemotherapy kills all fast-growing cells. So fast-growing cells is the cancer, but it's also your hair. It's also your skin. It's also your nails. So your skin becomes dull, your nails become brittle. Of course, you become bald, because at some point you're going to have to let go of your hair, depending on the kind of chemotherapy that you get. And my 4th round of chemo was bad. It was bad. I don't know why it was so bad, because I thought I had got in the groove. I worked the whole time because I wanted to keep myself moving and pushing, because people say an idle mind is the devil's workshop, and I
And a
truly
sick
believe
bed
that.
to drain your life.
It will. So I told myself, you got to keep moving for your babies. My children were at the forefront of my thoughts. My children were because my husband, he can kind of navigate. He's one of those people. He'll sit in it, but he'll move. But my babies, it's different, and I have a daughter, and I just was thinking about what will that look like for her? What will that look like for my sons, my adult son, my little children? What will that look like? So my children really kept me pushing, because if I did not have my children, and I did not have this family dynamic with my husband, and thinking about him, and what life would look like for him raising children on his own, and the stress that it would cause, I probably, after that 4th round, would have said, I'm not doing this anymore, because it was hard.
And see, I thought that when your hair came out, that was your hardest struggle.
Oh, child.
But you took that part like a champ, but you look cute anyway. But you took that part like a champ. But I remember that fourth because I believe I was there after that one, and then I flew back to
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta, and I kept saying, this one is making you a lot more weaker.
Yes.
This one
Yes.
is a different response. And I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
That's the one time I didn't want to leave and have to come back to Georgia because I knew something was different about it. I think that one took you several days to kick back from.
Yes. It took me
Mm-hmm.
over a week. So that
Mm-hmm.
second one, because you came to the second one, the fourth one, and the last one.
Mm-hmm.
So that second one, I bounced back so quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, I got this. But that fourth one, it took me over a week. I got my chemo on Thursday. Friday, I felt like a superhero. So, chemo on Thursday, go to work after my chemo. Friday, feel like a
Mm-hmm.
superhero. Saturday and Sunday down. Monday, I'm not feeling my best, but I'm back at work. That fourth one, that Thursday, I went back to work. That Friday, I was still feeling like a superhero. That Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, when I could not bounce back, and I was like, Lord,
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Mm-hmm.
why is this getting like? Why is it? But I'm telling you, if it was not for my family,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
mm-mm.
Yeah.
So if anybody watches this and is going through a season of breast cancer survival and they are on those rounds that feel like you don't know what to do, all I can say is find something to push you,
Mm-hmm.
something or
Mm-hmm.
someone, but
Mm-hmm.
you got to dig down deep.
Yeah. And you want to make sure that your support system is just that. Not a system where other people need your attention and want to make it about you, but supporting you through the process. So recognizing how valuable and important you are in this process. Let me ask you this question. What parts of your life did you have to let go in order to embrace who you are now?
The feeling of needing to be needed.
Mm,
The
mm,
feeling of needed to be needed. My entire life has been shaped to where, in order for me to have gratification
mm-hmm,
or a sense of self worth,
mm-hmm.
I feel like somebody has to need me.
You sound like
Like,
Nanny.
that's my nanny.
That's your nanny. That's your
But
nanny.
I truly have like feeling like somebody has to need you. Like you have to
Mm-hmm,
be everything to everybody. That was me. I
mm-hmm,
just
mm-hmm,
wanted to feel that to me was love.
mm-hmm,
People needing me. That was
mm-hmm,
me. That was love to me. If you need me,
mm-hmm,
you love me because you need
mm-hmm,
me. And you can't love
mm-hmm.
me if you don't need me. And
And
it
you
was
know
the
where that
wrong
comes
way to
from, right?
think.
It was, but it actually taps into the part of life that says, I need to belong.
That's it.
And acceptance. And a lot of people don't realize that if you go through your early years of development and not feeling like you belong, it shows up as an adult needing to be needed, not having any value and understanding of being needed. That's a huge, huge overcoming point for you because you did spend most of your life trying to figure out, well, where do I belong and how am I accepted without people needing something from me. And I'm so glad that you still going through the journey of turning that part over. But I'm so grateful that you got to the point where you decided that I'm valued whether you needed me or not.
Yeah. And it's okay to say no. I wish
Mm-hmm.
I could go back to the 11-year-old me and stand in her face when you had that conversation with me and say, she is absolutely right. And you're going to say no. It is okay to not be needed. It's okay to put you first.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me ask this question. There are going to be many people that are going to listen to this episode that may not be battling cancer or surviving cancer, but they're facing other challenges that may be overwhelming. What would be some advice that you would give to someone who may be stuck in survival mode?
So survival mode, first of all, is definitely a mindset.
Yes.
It is definitely a mindset. And whether it's cancer, whether it's financial difficulties, whether it's taking a test 13 times and failing it, whether it's homelessness, not in the sense of being under a bridge, but house hopping, couch to couch. The first thing I will say is you have to tell yourself, I am a survivor. I can get through this. I am not going to allow this to define me. I am not going to allow this to put me in a rut. I am going to do what needs to be done to better myself. So, what does that look like in survival mode? Example, I got an eviction notice. I know I got to get up out of this house. What am I going to do? I'm going to use my vehicle if I have one. And I'm going to use my vehicle to Uber Eats, Uber, do whatever I got to do. Oh, I ain't got no gas. I'm going to find somebody. You still got to have people you can lean on to borrow that $20. Hey, I'm a Uber Eats. I'm going to find someone. Hey, I got a couch hop. You have to lean on the ones you love, but the thing you cannot do is let it get to you, let it define you, get in a state of depression.
Yes.
You have to continue to move. And let me say this. Another thing, especially if you have insurance, whether it's private, whether it's Medicare, Medicaid, governmental insurance, get some therapy. Get some therapy. Therapy is life-changing. It's life-altering. So while you're in survival mode, I would definitely say seek therapists. Seek therapy. Get you a good therapist because that matters. You need someone to talk to other than your immediate circle. You need an unbiased opinion. You need someone to listen without judging, who's going to give you advice.
Yes.
You don't need unsolicited advice from family and friends. Dang, all you want to do is smoke weed all day. You still with him? You don't need that. When you are when you're in survival mode or you're going with the emotions, you need positivity. You need criticism that's constructive. You need people who are going to help you get up out this rut, but you cannot do it alone. I realized I couldn't do it alone. I did need my people, so I would say don't get in a rut, don't give up, don't give in. And that's easy to say. That's easy to say when you're not living in someone's moment. But everyone walking this earth has experienced some form of survival mode and they've overcome it. So they just have to dig down deep and get some therapy.
Definitely get therapy.
Definitely
get some therapy and don't be afraid of therapy. So with that being said, do you have 3 or 4 practical steps that someone can take to go from just surviving to thriving?
So I didn't want to say this because I'm big on not pushing God on everybody. I whatever faith you have, because see, I lean heavily on the Lord. I believe God is everything. But you have to tap into whatever that spiritual space is for you. For me, it was God. It was Jesus Christ. But you have to tap into that spiritual space. And you have to, whatever that looks like for you, whether that's building a relationship, because it's a lot of people say religion. It's not about religion. It's about relationship. This is a time for you sit and meditate in your holiness or whatever realm of spiritual, you have to tap into that. And then I would say journal. Journaling for me was wonderful. You have the journal you have. I use like, so journaling it was a big part of it,
Oh, the trauma bond journal.
The trauma bond journal. Yeah, the trauma bond journal. So I use the trauma bond journal, but I also wrote a lot of notes for me. So a lot of things that I did was on my worst days. I wrote down what that looked like. And I also wrote down some joys and some victories. So tap into your spiritual space, journal, write down what your bad days look like, and then put that date on there. And when you go back to that date a year from the day, you will be amazed at how strong you are. So journaling is very, if you don't want to get therapy, journal, but make sure that you write down what you feel like in your darkest moment. And if you want to journal that and keep it a year and look at it and burn it, whatever you want to do, you don't have to hold on to it. Hey, put it on a balloon and release it in the air. Whatever you have to do to release it from yourself, whatever that release looks like for you. But I would definitely recommend being spiritual, forming a relationship with God. I'm gonna say God, forming that relationship, but also journaling will help you, and getting you a good support system is very important. Not any negative Nancy's. It has to be someone who can speak to your spirit, speak to your heart. And then fourth and lastly, I would say, while you're doing that spiritual guidance, find what your purpose is. Find your purpose, because when you determine what you are truly here for, it gives you a different type of boost. It gives you a different type of confidence, and it allows you to see, I'm here for more. So I got to get up out of whatever this is, whatever this state of depression or survival looks like. Once you find your purpose, things will start rolling. It's a mindset.
It's a mindset.
It truly is a mindset.
So what conversations do you think that we need to have more often about women's health, women empowerment, and self-care?
I think we need to get to a point where we realize it's okay to put us first. It's okay to put you first. Because I went a long time without having any children, once RJ got a little older.
So let me stop real quick. There is a 20-year gap between her oldest and her youngest. She is the child that made me have to revisit the whole grandparenting plug again. So I just want to put that out there. There is a 20-year gap between her oldest and...
It's a big gap. So, a lot of things that you can do when your children become teenagers. Once you have a child again, you put that on the back burner. The getting the hair done weekly, the getting the nails done bi-weekly, the massages, everything is you put yourself on the back burner because you're doing sports. You're doing cheer, you're doing gymnastics, you're doing swimming, you're doing the teaching your children when you get off of your regular job. You want to make sure that they're productive citizens of society. You're doing all of the family outings that you want them to do. You're doing the zoos and the museum. You're getting wrapped up. You're being a wife. You're being a mother. You're coming home cooking. You're pleasing your husband. You're making sure you put him first, because in addition to your children, you still want to make sure that your spouse feels loved, feels supported. So you're being everything to everybody. And that's where that self-care starts to dwindle. We have to have more conversations as women about why it's okay to put yourself first. I was reading something, and it was talking about the pink essence, or the essence of your pink, getting your pink back. And I was like, getting your pink back, that's so cliche, but it really is true. We have become women, especially Black women. We are everything to everybody. You know, we feel like we have to be a hard shell and we have to be strong all the time. And if we're weak and if we cry, then, you know, it's just a sign of weakness. And I don't need no help. I can do this by myself. I can put these cabinets together by myself. And I know how to change a tire. If I get pulled, if I do something on the side of the road, you know, I know how to change a tire because I'm not depending on anybody. We have to get out of that mindset.
Yes.
God meant for us to be soft. He meant for us to be feminine. He meant for us to dwell in a place where we are feeling secure. And I feel like we should have more conversations around it being okay. It being okay to have a lazy day. It's okay if you want to sit in the bed and do nothing today. It's okay. You have that right. So
I totally agree.
I really wish we would have more conversations like that, saying it's okay. You don't have to move. I'm going through right now what's called survival syndrome. Where I had to catch myself, because after the treatments and the radiations and the chemos, and me going to radiation every single day, and me going to chemo every 4 weeks, and me doing this, and now that everything is over, it's like, well, what do I do with that time? Well, I done said, okay, well, hey, I'm gonna go and give me another master's, and now I've done that, and guess what I decided to do? Okay, now I'm gonna get my doctorate, you know. And I had to tell myself, Tymisza, are you doing this to truly thrive, or are you still in a state of survival mode because you feel like you have to continue to move? But I will say this, there has been a shift. So when you first asked me about survival to thriving, that's what made me realize the survival syndrome that I'm in, you know, the place that I'm in, because I wanted to be very intentional when I came on here. I didn't just want to, oh, I had breast cancer, you know, I survived it, and now I wanted to know, like, what does thriving truly look like? You know, what does being in survival mode truly look like? So I'm still in that sense of survival mode because I don't know how to shut off just being still.
And
And
that's
not
that's
doing
that
anything.
survival mode that needs to be healed with a lot of women. They're so afraid of saying it's okay for me to be still today. I don't have to be extremely productive. I don't have to get validation or appease anyone today. I can just be. And that
And I've been
fear,
being.
I love it. I love it because that place of just being gives you permission to reset. It gives you permission to renew. It gives you permission to say, I can be my greatest asset sitting right here. That's the beauty of thriving. You know, one of the things that I would say, here's the therapist kicking in. One of the things that you want to do when you're in that space is identify, why am I just surviving? What does surviving mean to me? Does it mean that I'm still people pleasing? Does it mean that I'm forgetting to value me and make me a priority? Does it mean that I'm still trying to prove something to somebody? What does it actually mean? And then what is thriving? Thriving, my definition of thriving is operating in a space of being your authentic self without an apology. Accepting who you are, regardless of what other people attempted to tell you about you. Just being you. Just
That's it.
accepting all of you. That's what thriving is to me. It's not about necessarily saying, oh, I'm on this magazine, or I got this many followers, or none of that. It simply means I am my greatest asset. That's my definition. What's your definition of thriving?
That's it. That's what I was about to say. Thriving is being who you want to be, doing what you want to do. Even in this program that I'm about to start, I have a classmate, and she wanted to go the PhD route, and because we could have went the PhD route, but I'm going the EDD route because
You're an
with
educator.
what
Wow.
I'm with what I'm doing, yeah, one, I'm an educator, and two, the cause that I want to fix is in that realm. It's in that EDD realm. And for a minute, I started to go that route just to make her happy. And I'm like, girl, no, no. And then, I got my husband. He's like, why are you even doing that? People like, why are you even doing that? I'm doing it because I want to do it. I'm going to do it because this is what I want to do. I want to do this. I'm going to do it for me. Oh, well, it's going to be a lot of time and it's a lot going on. And I don't care. Thriving is saying, I don't care what anybody else
I love
feels.
that.
I am going to do it because I want to do it, and I have the right to put myself first. I have the right to make me happy and do what I want to do to fulfill the purpose that God has for me. Because at the end of the day, I have to walk in my purpose. If I do not walk in my purpose and I do not do what God has told me that I'm supposed to do, I'm going to forever keep feeling inferior and feel like I got to do what everybody else. No, I'm doing what God wants me to do and what I want to do too. So
And that's the
that to me is thriving.
that's it, man, in a nutshell. Because I'm the queen of education. I'm going to get some degrees and all that kind of stuff. But your why has to be about you, no one else. It doesn't have to be approved by anyone else, and it doesn't have to be validated by anyone else. You got to do it for you, because thriving needs to mean what it means for you specifically. You said a whole lot, baby girl. You said a whole lot. So I got a question for you. What does it mean to you to be authentically peculiar?
When you're authentically peculiar, you are who God has intended you to be. When you are authentically peculiar, you are walking in your true self without any outside factors, without anyone telling you who you should be. You are being true to who you are in your heart, not looking at social media, not looking at your friends, not looking at your neighbors, looking at who you are, who you truly are, who your subconscious tells you you are, and being that person, whether it's wonky, whether it's wacky, whether it's weird to other people. You are who you want to be and who you feel you should be without
Yeah.
any outside influences. That's authentically peculiar.
Oh, girl, you said it. You said it. You said it. You said it. This has been a truly beautiful interview. Thank you so much for showing up and being present, being vulnerable. But thank you mostly for the message of learning how to move from survival to thriving mode. Do you have any last words of encouragement to the audience?
One, I'm going to say, before I give you encouraging words, I'm going to say this again. I'm going to look in the camera and I'm going to say it. If you are not in therapy or you have never been in therapy, you may want to get some therapy if you see that you're in survival mode. Now, with that being said, since I've gotten that out the way, I just want to say be encouraged. Know that this does not, if you are in a season of doubt, If you are in a season of suffering, if you are in a season of depression, know this does not define you. Know that this is not the end. Know that greater is coming. Know that you are loved. Know that you are valued. Know that God sees you, He hears you, and He is carrying you even when you're in your darkest hour.
Ooh, you have said a lot. Now, there are probably going to be some people that want to leave comments and maybe even connect with you on their journey of survival. How would you like for them to connect with? Now, I'm going to say this about my baby, y'all. Let me say this. She is not a big social media person. You can send her messages, you can make comments and all that kind of stuff. She probably not going to respond to them. So you probably do best sending me your questions or your comments, and then I get responses for you. And it's not because she doesn't care. It truly is. That's just not the zone that she's in. That's just
Yeah,
not where she is. That's not her thing. So I'm not gonna say tell them how to get in contact with you or anything like
I
that.
mean, they can always, you know, they can always try to reach out to me. I don't even know when the last time I logged into my Instagram, but it is just my first name.
Mm-hmm.
And my Facebook is Ty Matthews. But like she said, I mean, I'm just not. I've had many accomplishments. I didn't put my graduation on social media. I didn't put my teacher
We
of the
did.
year on social media.
We did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you know, I just I don't know. I really feel like social media is a great tool, but sometimes it's a great tool for like showing, you know, your you connecting with people, but it also disconnects people.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'll get on there every once in a while, but I'm not. But if I do get a message, you know, I'll get the notification about the messenger request or whatever. But yeah, they probably do better getting you know talking to you to get in touch with me because I'm just not. You know, and it's not that I'm not a fan of social media because I will get on there every now and again.
But that's
I don't
not your
know.
thing. And everybody has a
Yeah.
lane and everybody has a purpose. I believe that, part of your purpose is just creating this space right now that
I said I'm
can
a
really
social
help.
introvert.
And people don't believe when I say that I am a true introvert, and I am. I'm actually an ambivert. I know when I have to be in public, and that's what you really are. You're an ambivert. When
Oh,
you're in
okay. Well,
public,
hey.
you have to be what you have to be in that
Hmm.
public arena. But our true life in the booth in the back in the corner in the dark somewhere out the way so that we can be who we need to be. So I am so grateful for you today, for this interview, for trusting me and authentically peculiar with Marcia, with your story, with your
Oh, I
beautiful
thank you.
smile. And I'm so grateful just for everything and who you are and how you show up in all of our lives. To the audience, what I will tell you is to reemphasize what Tymisza has said. Find you a therapist when you are and have had to live in survival mode, needing everybody else's a permission to be your great self. Don't try to navigate that switch over by yourself. Get the support and the help that you need. If you have concerns about paying for therapy, Taraji P. Henson does have a program out there at theloveland.org, thelovelandfoundation.org. See if you can get some free vouchers to begin the process of going to therapy. You don't have to take this journey alone. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in with Authentically Peculiar with Marcia. Stay tuned. Go out, support. You can visit my website at marciablaine.com. It's a lot of good stuff out there that you can tap into, from the books, the meditation album, some new t-shirts that's recently dropped, all that kind of stuff. You can follow me on any social media platform, either by my name or Authentically Peculiar with Marcia or Peculiar One MRB, anywhere on social media. But until next time, make sure that you are walking in your true self and always, always live Authentically Peculiar. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for sharing time and space with us today on Authentically Peculiar with Marcia. Don't forget to like, comment, and share the podcast with everyone that you know. In addition, go out and support each of the guests and their own social platforms. Buy their products. Leave them a comment. We'll see you on the next episode of Authentically Peculiar with Marcia.